Good morning, good night, good afternoon, whatever the time of day and your location is. Let me just say that I hope you are doing well and having a enjoyable life. This is going to be a wide variety video. It's not going to be any one specific topic, for the simple fact that many things are on my mind at this point of time. So here's the deal, folks. This is the deal right here. President Trump has made it clear how he feels about NFL players protesting the national anthem and disrespecting the American flag. Many other American citizens have stated their opinions in regards to disrespecting the flag and the national anthem. Let me say this. The ugly truth is, we as an American nation have one freedom that no other nation in this world can claim. We have the freedom to protest against whatever we feel like protesting. Whether it's police brutality, whether it's white privilege, whatever, Oh, that police pulled me over because I'm black. Well, let me ask you this question. Were you speeding? Were you wearing your seatbelt? Were you drinking and driving? Was you possession of drugs or something? It's simple. Were you breaking the law? That's a simple question. Were you breaking the law? If so, then by all means you should get pulled over. You should get punished. Now, to say that the police are racist because they put you over for breaking the law is as hideous and laughable as saying that you were robbed and there was no one around. To claim racism because you are breaking the law is ridiculous. Just plain and simple. Ridiculous. You cannot claim racism because you're black and the cop is white and you got pulled over for speeding. You broke the law. Speed limit said 55. You're running 65. You knew better than to run 65 miles an hour in a 55 mile an hour zone. So therefore, police is not racist. You were disobedient. You broke the law. Plain and simple. The law says, do not be in possession of illegal drugs such as marijuana, cocaine, heroin, meth, crack rock, whatever. You go through a license check. For whatever reason, they feel a need to legally search your vehicle to find out that you have illegal drugs in your possession. You go to jail. That's not a racist cop. That is a cop doing their job. You presented signs to cause them to feel the need to search your vehicle, providing it's legal, keyword there, legal, then, and they find illegal drugs in your vehicle, then you go to jail. You had possession of illegal drugs. Plain and simple. The law says don't. You did. You go to jail. If you don't want to go to jail, if you don't want to be the baby daddy that is doing life in prison for possession, don't be in possession. Don't be under the influence and don't be in possession. It's real simple. To white people that get pulled over for DUI, whatever they're under the influence of, marijuana, cocaine, heroin, alcohol, prescription drugs, you get pulled over, you're intoxicated by whatever means, then you're going to jail. Plain and simple. Just like right now, I'm on my way home. The speed limit is 35. I'm doing 30, 31, 32 miles an hour. I've got a red light up ahead. I'm slowing down. Now, I just got passed by somebody with really bright lights. I, too, could turn my lights on and return the favor. The law states that it is illegal to fail to dim your headlights when passing someone. No matter the reason why you didn't, the law states failure to dim your lights is punishable by a fine. Now, I get pulled over for failure to dim my headlights. The police, why did you not dim your headlights? You did not dim yours, sir. You have a legitimate case. But nonetheless, you're still in the wrong for failing to dim your headlights. So, to sit there and say, well, you didn't dim yours, so I didn't see the point in dimming mine. That made sense. But it's still wrong. Most of the time, the cops are going to realize that you're right. Of course, they are going to attempt to excuse their actions, which again, that's normal for a police officer. Very few are going to admit when they are in the wrong. However, there are those that do, in fact, admit wrongdoing on their part. Congratulations to those. But my point is, folks, follow the rules and do what you're told, as long as it is within reason. If the police officer tells you to step out of your vehicle and you have done absolutely nothing wrong, then no, do not step out of that vehicle. Absolutely do not step out of that vehicle if you have not done anything wrong. Remain in your vehicle. It don't matter how many cops show up. If you have a cell phone, if you have a video camera, the minute you get pulled over, follow these simple suggestions. 1, stay calm. No matter what attitude that officer has, you stay calm. Just do it. Just stay calm. Number 2, record every word that is said between you and the officer or officers. That's number 2. Number 3, you do not have to provide documentation for them to touch. All you have to do is put it where they can see it. They do not have to touch it. So they just have to be able to see it. Big difference, people. Big difference. That's 3. Little quick review. 1, stay calm. 2, videotape everything that is said and done. 3, provide your identification where it can be seen while keeping it firmly in your possession. If need be, have your little spare roll of Scotch tape so that you can tape it to your window. Roll your window down just enough where you can hear them and they can hear you, but far enough up that they cannot stick their hands inside your vehicle. Now, those are 3 things. Number 4, do not believe everything that officer tells you. If you get pulled over for driving at 5 o'clock in the afternoon on October the 22nd, and it is dusk dark, and you do not have your headlights on as you're supposed to, per the driving manual that you study when you're 15, learning to get your permit, you do not have to get out of the vehicle, no matter what. Not all vehicles have headlights that automatically come on the minute the ignition is turned on. Therefore, while it is against the law to drive at that time of day without headlights, the most that should happen is a citation. A citation should be the most that happens. If you remain calm, if you're videotaping, and don't be discreet about it, let them know. They are recording their interaction with you. You record your interaction with them. That way there's 2 sides to that tape. There's their side and your side. Bad part about it, both sides can be edited to say or prove this point or the other point. So, with that being said, remain in your vehicle. It doesn't matter what they suggest that you have done. Do not admit to anything. Do not think, oh, if I just admit, they'll go away. Wrong. Do not admit. It is not your job to give them answers for questions they have not asked. it is your job to answer truthfully each question that they ask. If they don't ask you, have you been drinking, don't say, oh yeah, I had 2 Budweisers 10 minutes ago. No, don't do that. But if they say, sir, have you been drinking? Don't sit there. No, I ain't been drinking, and you smell just like a case of beer. Say, yeah, I've been drinking. How long ago's it been? Don't say 24 hours. Tell them the truth. If it's been 10 minutes, it's 10 minutes. If it's 2 hours, it's 2 hours. Tell them the truth. Or be as accurate as possible. Are you going to get a legitimate, straight-laced, honorable cop every time you get pulled over? Absolutely not. Are you going to have polite cops every time you get pulled over? Absolutely not. However, the chances of having a rude, attitudinal, or dirty cop is greater than your chances of getting a nice, polite, law-abiding cop. That's a sad fact of life. It's a sad fact that we've been dealing with ever since this country was founded. There have been good law enforcement officers and there have been crooked law enforcement officers. Just like in politics. Law enforcement, governor, president, congressperson, they all go hand in hand. They're all ingredients in the same pie. Don't admit to anything. Stand your ground in a respectful, polite manner. Do not admit to anything unless they come out point blank and ask you, do you have weapons? If you do, yes. If you don't, no. A rule about firearms. Concealed carry. That's only for those that have them out of sight. You do not have to have a concealed carry permit if your handgun is visible at all times, such as open carry in a big holster on your hip, lay upon your dash, and it can be loaded. Okay? It can be loaded on your hip. It can be loaded while laying on your dash. That is perfectly legal. Any cop that says otherwise is wrong. Second Amendment states that you have the right to bear arms, and that right shall not be infringed upon by anybody. Not even in the state, county, or city government requiring you to purchase a pistol permit. You do not have to have one. That is technically nothing more than a form of taxation. Because the only thing that you're doing, you're just giving the county money. Now, with that being said, if your firearm is visible at all times, you're fine. Whether it's loaded or unloaded. If it's visible, you're fine. So, again, let's refresh. 1, remain calm and polite and respectful. All that good stuff. Number 2, videotape from the moment they step to your window to the moment they step away for the last time. Don't pause. Don't stop. Don't think about it. If your phone's about to go dead, plug it up. Number 3, provide the documentation providing your identification where they can see it. Do not put it where they can hold it. They don't need to do that. They just need to be able to see it. I would say that it would be a good idea to have a photocopy of your identification. However, that might be illegal. So I would not suggest that. If it is, however, legal, then have that. That way you can have both sides of your driver's license facing out, and they can look at it. Again, they don't have to hold it. They don't have to touch it. They just have to be able to see it. The reason that so many people are having issues with the police is not because they're doing wrong, but because of how they begin the encounter with the law enforcement. If the officer steps to your window and he is polite to you and you start snapping and barking and acting like you don't have any home raising, then yeah, he's going to get ugly and the situation's going to go south real quick. However, if the officer steps to your window and you say, hello, officer, how may I help you? And he snaps, you remain calm. Let that be seen on the video. That way, you can prove that you were trying to do what you were told, as you were told, by the law. That is the law written on the books, not the impersonator of law. And go on from there. And if, for whatever reason, you get arrested, don't fight and resist. Just go with the flow. I got arrested one night for DUI. I was below the legal limit by almost 0.05%. Now, I legally should not have been arrested. However, the deputy, being young to the field and fairly, I would say a rookie, did not know what the law stated. Or if they did, they weren't familiar with the exact portions. But nonetheless, they arrested me for DUI and they took me to jail. Well, by the time I got to the jail and did the blow test, I blew a .03. Any of you that know the laws on drinking, it's a .08 or above makes you legally drunk. I was well below that. Therefore, legally, I should not have been in jail. However, I had to do my 4 hours in jail, and then I was released. Okay, no big deal, right? Well, guess what? All that goes without a hitch. I get that little charge. In the process of being released, they also give me a fine for improper lane usage. Well, that too is a trumped up charge, but nonetheless, I accept it. That way I can go on back to my house where I was headed when I got arrested, and I can go to sleep. With that being said, I get up, I go on to the house. My court date is set. Everybody's telling me, oh, you got DUI. Plead guilty and just get it over with. Plead guilty, plead guilty. Never realizing that I was well below the legal limits of consumption. I was not guilty. Therefore, come time for court, with a lawyer in hand, He goes up there. They say, plead guilty to the improper lane usage, and the DUI is dismissed. Certainly, that's a $300 fine for improper lane usage. After 5 years, it's off my record. As opposed to an unlawful, unjust DUI, it stays on your record for 10 years or more. By all means, I'll take the lesser, because in the grand scheme of things, I was guilty of improper lane usage more so than DUI. But that's enough about me. It just goes to prove how to handle a situation. If you go to jail, take it to court. Find you a good lawyer that's about honor and justice for all, not about who can make the most money. And you will see that if you have a fair lawyer, more than likely, you will get a fair judgment, providing that you did not act crazy in the process. If you acted crazy, there's not a whole lot a good lawyer can do for you. I'm just telling you the truth. There really isn't. But nonetheless, acting stupid and fighting the police and fighting the system in a Antifa or Black Lives Matter, or sitting down on your butt or kneeling down during the anthem and refusing to come out of a tunnel and locking your arms and all that, that's no way to be. I don't respect you for protesting that away. If you want change, you have to start the change. You have to change yourself. Nobody else can change this world until you and them start changing yourselves. You change you, they change themselves. Together, we as the 99% can change this nation. Not to a socialist country, not to a dictatorship, but to a democracy that was intended by our forefathers. Oh, you bring up slavery. Look, folks, I've heard this bull snap about slavery until I'm sick of it. Did it take place in this country? Yes, it did. Was it a just institution? No, it wasn't. Was it humane? No, it wasn't. What about it was positive? One, the slaves were, for most part, treated better than the non-slave people. Hard for you to believe, I know, but it's true. They had room, they had board, and they had medical care. Were slaves whipped? Unfortunately, yes. Were they, was the buck of the pack broken? Unfortunately, yes. You did have those demonic, evil-minded slave owners, if you will, that broke the camel's back of rebellion, if you'll accept that terminology. So, therefore, you had horrible treatment of black people. You had horrible treatment of white people. What you fail to realize is white people were enslaved first. We, as a society, are still in slavery to this day. I don't know anybody that can go out and buy whatever they want and not have to worry about the consequences. Those of you that do go out and buy whatever you want without worrying about the consequences, well, you just have no common sense. most everybody that I know of, some are rich, some are well off, some are very rich, some are getting by. I just fit somewhere in the middle. But nonetheless, I know very few people that can go out and just go crazy buying stuff with no regards to the future. You know, even Donald Trump, even Bill Gates, they can't just go out and buy without paying attention to what's going to happen in the projected future. Bill Gates could lose everything he owns in a day, you know. Microsoft stops selling. All of his other stuff stop profiting. Donald Trump can get to the point where he needs his $400,000 annual presidential salary because bad investments, sir. People stop purchasing his products. So, you know, if billionaires have to watch out for tomorrow, then why in the tarnation wouldn't you, obviously not a billionaire, need to watch out? All these athletes out there, taking a knee, sitting, locking arm in arm. Y'all got no room to talk about nothing. You commit the same atrocities that a law enforcement officer, the federal government, the city government, whatever, commit. But because you've got money, you get off. The law enforcement commits a heinous crime, they get off because they've got the police department on their side. It's no different. If you want to talk about justice, here's you some justice. You're on a football team and you know one of your teammates is guilty of domestic abuse against his spouse. Stand up against it. Fight against that injustice. Don't sweep it under the rug. That's ridiculous. Because you're doing the exact same thing that a $35,000 a year cop and his lieutenant is doing. They sweep that little patrolman's discrepancies under their rug. Your teammates, you sweep your teammates' discrepancy under the NFL carpet. What's the difference? You're an athlete and he's a cop. There's no difference. Wrong is wrong. So, before you start fighting and complaining about the injustices done by the police department or the federal government, worry about your injustices. Now, it's almost midnight where I'm at. So, with that being said, I'm going to get off of this. I'm going to end this video. There will be more to come. Please stay tuned. I'm not going to ask you to subscribe. I'm not going to ask you to like. Feel free to do either of those. Leave a comment. Good or bad, I will read it and I will respond. Feel free to start a discussion, you know. But plain and simple, folks, choices have consequences. That's not a hidden secret. That's not hard to figure it out. You get what you put in, people. You give bad, you get bad. You give good, you get good. So, with that being said, I hope you all have a good, wonderful, blessed night. Turn to God. Seek His opinion, His advice, His will. Because at the end of the day, all things are possible through Christ which strengthens me. Philippians 4:13. You can't do anything with the devil by your side, but you can do everything with God. So, may you enjoy a peaceful and happy and godly oriented life and help one another. Don't be a hindrance to fellow man. Be a helping hand. Thank you for listening. Have a good night.